Boy here. I know it's been a while since I went off the grid. There's little suspicious activity in my account lately. As you know, I had to go through a rebranding due to copyright infringement. Now I am Boy. But I'm back with my new movie review of this premiere of Desk Clerk that I went to tonight. It was a very fancy gig, and I got the entire cast and crew to sign, so it was very impressive. I really wanted to give props to these people. It's hard as an independent filmmaker, and myself as an independent film critic, to go out into this world and spend money and not get a lot in return. And it was really nice to see such a good turnout for such an independent underground movie company. And I just wanted to shout out to all those independent filmmakers out there. You're doing great work, and I appreciate you. So let's get into a little bit about Desk Clerk. Now, I know there's a lot of my fans are very highbrow, but if you can imagine being a desk clerk, working in retail, how many stories you get from people that come in and are just wacky characters, right? So this movie is basically takes on that premise. There's a desk clerk, the titular desk clerk, and we get recounted these amazingly in-depth characters that you could interact with on an everyday basis. It's like you're there. It's like you're the desk clerk. It's really, a connection with the audience, and that's very impressive for such a small film. I don't know where they found all their talent, but they had a really good agent finding them. So, basically, like I said, the story is about a desk clerk. Let me, some of the tales were pretty funny. There was a guy who brought in a computer, and he puts it down on the counter and says, "Well, my wife wants me to go out of town with my computer. She won't have it in the house anymore." And he starts feeling it up. He starts feeling up the computer, and you're like, okay. Okay. And then they go back to the room, and it gets pretty explicit for a family film. And, I keep all of my reviews PG, and often the cases they come out to be G rated, but so I won't be going into much detail, but let's just say there was some zombie lube involved with the computer, and some furries, some foot fetish things, and that's all I'm going to say about that. But it was so funny. You had to see it, and you will see it if you can purchase one of the DVDs as they go flying off the shelves. And also, the lube is for sale. They bought 18 cases, so they've got plenty lube to spare. Anyway, so that reminds me of the next person. So the film opens, cold open, on a guy who can't sleep. Because every time he turns off the light, he thinks that there's a monster in his room. But it was just the air conditioner. And this goes on for at least 10 minutes. And it's so good. It's very perfect comedic timing. And it's just masterful. The actors, like I say, masterclass in acting. Really, truly should be studied in film schools everywhere. So, another story. Oh, this was one of my favorites. So, of course, their manager, the person who runs the hotel, is, just like a typical manager, always pushing the company agenda and belittling the small people and overworking their employees. So, imagine. She's doing a little side hustle in one of the more expensive rooms, and the owner shows up. The owner of the hotel shows up while she's in a hot tub in the master suite. And it's getting a little steamy in there. Yeah, with the maintenance man of all people, and our desk clerk. it kindly informs the owner that this room has been out of commission and hasn't been taking any any tenants anytime soon recently. And so he wants to look at the room, see what kind of maintenance they're doing on it. And I think you get where I'm going. It was hilarious. Yeah, and so then all good films have homages. You know, we have to appreciate the greats in film, and really that's where this one just melded everything in. You know, you had to be very savvy in the movie field because of how many like ins and outs that they were pulling out with all these references. It was one after another, and it was hilarious. But one of my favorites was there was a little girl who was in the credits. She was called the what was it? Rip-Off Girl. That's it. She would just keep saying how much this hotel was ripping her off. Her and her grandmother. Sadly, in the Q&A afterwards, the actress, the young actress, mentioned that both of her grandparents were dead. So, of course, the person who played her grandmother in the movie wasn't her real grandmother, and that was really sad. And it was nice to like get a feel for what the actors and actresses were going through after we had watched their brilliant work. It was nice for them to all come on stage and recount, you know, some of their adventures and some of their hilarious moments, just a little behind the scenes question, Q&A. It was really amazing, and it was nice that it lasted at least an hour, because then you get to really know who you're viewing on screen. But yeah, anyway, back to one of my favorite scenes was this little girl. She brings her trike in. And you know where I'm going. She brings her trike in to the hotel with her grandmother, and they get a room. And then she's riding around, just pedaling like crazy around the hotel. And they've got it, you know, right from behind the trike, just like in The Shining. And it was just such a perfect homage. And they only brought it up 3 times. They followed the little girl around the hallway, and it was pretty funny. They had some little current modern day humor with some Fox News versus CNN. Some of those guys were running around. They were arguing earlier about whether they should change the channel from CNN to Fox News, and you know, they were on different sides of the political spectrum. They could unite over how creepy this little girl riding around was. It was very on point. But yeah, and it was so those were some of my, I don't want to spoil all of them because they were all amazing. All of these little moments in there were just spot on acting. You know, it was just amazing to see such great people portraying such realistic roles. It was great. And then afterwards, like I said, they had a Q&A session. It was great. After a 2-hour movie, we had the pleasure of sitting there for another hour, listening to them recant these stories and answer our questions, and really, you know, dive into these characters. The computer guy was there. He came and spoke a little bit about his experiences, and most of his stuff was ad-libbed, and that was incredible to me, how one actor could be so talented. Anyway, go see Desk Clerk. I'll show the poster again. Amazing. It's probably in stores near you. I would check it out. But yeah, so send your love and support. Please like and subscribe this channel. I know we had copyright issues earlier, and I don't want anybody to be afraid that I disappeared forever and will never make one of these again. But you know, if the lawyers come for me, they come for me, and I'm just glad to see my fans are there for me. That's really important. Well, thank you, and please check out Desk Clerk. All right, bye.